What's up, everyone? I hope that you guys are having a fantastic time. Once again, my name is Gurpreet Singh. I'm the Director of African Foundation when it comes down to agriculture, nutrition, as well as the environment. Today, I have a very, very special guest and a close friend, a brother of mine with me. His name is Jacob, and he is actually the owner of Soulmate University along with his wife. And, today I just wanted to go and share some love with you guys, share some wisdom of love. This guy needs no introduction, obviously, but if I was to go and give him an introduction, he specializes in people finding soulmate connections that last a lifetime, creating marriages, creating an impact in people's love. And as you guys know, what's happening with love today, most people over the age of 30, for the first time, are not being married. And it's crazy. And over 60% of marriages are ending in divorce. So I think that's a huge subject to go and talk about in terms of relationships. And I have the one and only, I would love for you to introduce yourself. Just give us like a little bit of your background introduction as well, Jacob. I already know you, but for the crowd that doesn't know you, and for the people that want to be reintroduced to you, tell them exactly what's your purpose in life, what do you do, and what makes this mission so special for you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm loving the energy. Hello, everybody from all over the world. And yeah, my wife and I have a crazy story. From mid teenage years to mid 20s, my focus was 100% on building my businesses, traveling the world, entrepreneurship, and setting the foundation for the life of my dreams. And as a man, we need to be the provider, the protector, the leader. And that's what I was covering. That's what I was getting in place so that I could be living a successful married life today. Alongside being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, I spent every waking moment seeking God, growing closer to the Creator, developing myself spiritually and emotionally, and just weeding out all the things internally, my beliefs, my emotional patterns, my habits that would stop me from living that life. And I never imagined that I would be teaching this, but your greatest gift and your greatest pain can become your passion, your purpose, and your profit. So if you've ever gone through a challenging time, just know God is preparing you for something. And when you come out on the other side of that, you will be equipped to show the world that gift that God gave to you through that life experience, through that pain. So at age 25 years old, I was honestly not even looking. But you'll find that love when you're not looking, when your life is so fulfilled, so happy, and you're so at peace that you don't even need that anymore. You feel so good and so fulfilled and so whole that the only next logical step is for the Creator to give you that person to share your life with, because you don't go to a relationship to become more whole. You go to a relationship to share that wholeness and that internal fulfillment that you already have. Because if you're not happy now, a relationship is not going to fix that. But if you are happy now, a relationship is only going to amplify that, and you'll only be able to be a good spouse if you've taken care of yourself first. So we met in a crazy way, and
Okay.
we look back at the journey that we had gone through, both of us, and we realized that God essentially gave us the formula for anybody to implement to attract the love of their life. And
Wow.
we got married extremely fast. We literally, our lives were so good that when we met, the trajectory we were on, we said, hey, we would love to be together, but I don't even know if I want to change anything about my life because it's so good. But we realized that God gave us a gift that we couldn't pass up. So we actually got married on our 2-month anniversary, believe it or not,
Wow.
because when you know, you know. I had literally confirmation after confirmation after confirmation from
Yes.
God that this was my person. And here we are 7 years later, 3 kids, happily married, and teaching the world and anybody who's willing to do the internal work how they can attract
Yes.
that love into their life too. Sorry for the long answer, my brother, but that's
No. That's a beautiful long answer. And for anybody that's actually listening to this right now, think about he's just already kind of laid it down for you. You did the internal work first. and it automatically manifested for him. He wasn't seeking that kind of like, like he wasn't like, oh yeah, I got to go to the club and find this person. He was just manifesting it by being himself. And I think that's a beautiful thing for like a lot of people to take away. And when it comes down to like me personally, I've been doing like a lot of personal work on myself, my entire life. And it's like I'm at 49 businesses now. I'm constantly working on getting improvement. I'm constantly working on serving people, and that's what my life purpose is. And so I'm just kind of like wondering. It's like it's like for all those people that are asking, it's like, hey, have you done the internal work? You're physically so fit. You gotten 5 world records as a player, like 5, 6 world records as a coach. For the USA team, etc. So when it comes down to a person like that, what would your answer be? Because like a lot of people think that like dating nowadays is so difficult. It's so hard. Online dating has made it so like, so that people get that immediate satisfaction or whatever it is. And in like my personal opinion, like, I find dating to be incredibly easy, but relationships to be hard. Right? Like it's so easy to go and close a deal, but it's so hard to go ahead and sustain something that you want to go and have for like a long period of time. So what is the answer that you would say to those kind of people that are saying in this modern day, dating has become not like it used to be? And I
Yeah.
kind of agree with that in that kind of regards. And I don't know, like, how old you are, Jacob. I've never actually asked you this because you look so young every single time. But, it's like I'm 33 personally, so I grew up in that entire information technology. Like, the moment that I was in like, high school, there was stuff that was out there. MySpace was launched when I was in like middle school. So everybody was automatically doing that entire social media thing. So I want to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, I'm 32, brother. So very, very similar upbringing in terms of the time of the world that we're living in, but
Yeah.
it's totally different. And nowadays, when people see any red flag or incongruency or
Okay.
inconsistency or anything that they might even confuse as a red flag on your social media or something that you tell them that doesn't match up from what they can see online, people are so fast to ghost and disappear because they have 99 other options every single day. So that's number one, is just make sure that you're not accidentally tripping up people's discernment or BS meters by an old photo you have on your social media or something that's no longer aligned with you or
Okay.
whatever it may be, because we all, when we're trying to make life decisions, do as much digging as we possibly can on the person that we might potentially be spending a long time or even a lifetime with. If we're hiding something, if our profile picture is of something that doesn't really look like us, or we embellish about certain things, or we hide certain things,
Sure.
or we have diminishing of character photos from college or whatever, that might be a photo
Yeah.
from 10 years ago. People are so quick to. So, cleaning up really your digital reputation is so important. And fortunately for me, when I met my wife, I had spent so many years building a brand and I was traveling the world speaking and I was, constantly doing something exciting. And I was and I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying you can't get yourself disqualified by something that you have. But my digital presence, because my wife is from a whole nother country, my digital presence allowed her to get to know me from a distance, as well as actually getting to know the real, actual human me through phone, through FaceTime, through text, through all those things from a distance. And my reputation and my digital life was set up to where it did not set off any red flags. If I had
Yes.
all kinds of weird things that she had questions about, she might totally DQ me and never see me. So that's number one. But number two,
Number
don't.
two. Okay, so number one, let me just like summarize it for the people is filter out what your past that doesn't serve you so that people get the right image of who you truly are in the present moment. And like that was already like a big bomb right there. Like, it's like I think about like the photos that I have in my past. I have some like random sexy photos, me on Barbados, kind of situation. And I'm just thinking it's like, are people like materializing me in that kind of regards? Or I have things and like random like random like, places with like a bunch of drinks. And are people thinking that like, now all of a sudden is this guy just an alcoholic? So it's like it automatically like brought like a bunch of things into my mind in terms of my profile. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. What is it that you think about your profile in your past that doesn't serve you down below so that we can go ahead and we can maybe get a little bit of input into that as well. And if you are going to be doing some filtering, I would love to go and know. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I had like this random like rave picture of me or like some random Halloween picture of me, of like me dressed up in a certain way that now I would probably no longer do. I mean, I have a couple of pictures like that too. And now I'm going to go ahead and consciously go into my profile. And just like I told you guys up above, if you guys want to check out my profile, there are the pictures right now, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be gone after this interview. So you guys have a very short period of time. You guys have maybe like around 48 hours to check them out if you really want to. But go on to your second point, buddy. In the meantime, put it down to the comments below, guys.
Love it. Yeah, reputation management is so key. I was always so conscious about what I was broadcasting out to the world, and even today, I do an annual purge of like, okay, that's not going to put out the message that is in alignment with me at this time. So just be conscious of that because people will disqualify you before you ever even get to open your mouth. The second thing is, what is your intention? Are you looking for someone to spend the night with? Or are you looking to someone to spend your life with? Because if you're looking for someone to spend your life with, then that is going to be what makes it through the filter and makes it to you. But if you're looking for someone to spend the night with, you're going to be putting off an energy that your soulmate, your dream person might be looking for someone to spend their life with. And you might have this non-committal energy that you're putting out there, and your person has done the work, they're ready, but your energy signifies, hey, I'm having fun, I'm playing around. And
yes.
High value women, especially speaking of the men, high value women are very careful about who they interact with, who they give their energy to. And
Yes.
they have 100 people lined up, ready to go on speed dial, where if you get DQ'd, if you blow it, then guess what? It doesn't even matter how amazing you are in real life because they have already DQ'd you. You've DQ'd yourself without knowing it. And they say, do I want to go through this drama?
I just want to interrupt you for like the audience that doesn't know what is a DQ because I'm
Disqualification.
disqualification. Okay, disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
All right, please. I apologize, but please go
Yep,
on.
disqualification, and that might be, you know, you didn't let them know some really important thing that maybe you should have let them know up front, or whatever it is. Anything that if you were dating somebody and you found it out way late in the game, and you would say, "Wow, I really think you should have told me that like kind of up front." If they
Yes.
think they find that out, even if it's completely a misunderstanding by
Sure.
looking at your social media or whatever, they'll say, oh no, this is a player, or this is a person who is not serious, or this person, whatever it may be. So
Whatever they come up with in their psychology, that like essentially makes you be disqualified in terms of like the energy that you're putting out. It can be like let me give me like an example of that. For like those men that really don't know. Let's just say, for example, you're trying to go and hit up a girl for the first time. You like nowadays, it's usually matching on social media. I've actually never matched with somebody on social media and actually got on a date with them. Personally speaking, I've always done stuff organically. For some reason, it just happens. Don't panic, it's organic kind of situation for me. But I know a lot of men are finding like random women on social media. So let's just say you have the social media profile that's set up that's displaying who you are as a man of character, right? That displays who you want to be, that displays what you like, what your interests are. So your profile pictures and everything are set up in the proper way. And now all of a sudden you get a match on Tinder, let's just say, for example, right? Like I know Tinder's a big one nowadays. And you get a match on Tinder, and all of a sudden, what is a man supposed to say? Like, to go and show like his intentions are not just to go and hook up. Her intentions are to go and build a life partner. Because obviously we're a soul-based business, so we're not doing the hookup stuff as it is, right?
yeah.
So what would a message go ahead and portray like? Let's just say, for example, like, because I mean you're obviously the expert here.
Yeah. So let's say, personal example, I used to party a lot when I was in high school. I found spirituality late in my teen years, and
Okay.
completely turned around 180 full turn.
You
But
used to party in high school.
oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
we
Just
became the complete opposites. I never partied in high school.
it was just an environment thing. I
Okay.
was just down where there wasn't a whole lot to do, and that's what everybody did. And you either did nothing and hung out with nobody and were bored, or you found something to do. And you become the average of the five people you spend the most time with. So, if I was
Yeah,
talking
your
about
network equals your net worth, right?
exactly right. So if I had some photos up of me just doing something crazy, or maybe if I didn't, I would just
Yeah,
say, I know I may have it all together now, but back in the
yes,
day, I used to have so much fun. I used to be out there partying, but what happened was I had an experience where I realized that wasn't fulfilling me, and
yeah.
I decided to live for a greater purpose, to live to have an amazing life, and not be doing the same thing year after year. So really, just like what Eminem did in 8 Mile, you call out the stuff that they're potentially going to call out before they can do it, so you can address it. That way, when they say, "Oh, do you know about that guy?" They'll say, "Oh, they used to party like crazy." You've already told them that, and then you've told them the shift and who you really are now. Or let's say somebody who's been through a marriage, you say, I went through a marriage. I was not perfect. I did what I needed to do to grow. I've
Yes,
spent a lot of time
yes.
focusing on myself. And now I know what I did to make that situation not work. And I'm bringing a lot more maturity into my
Mhm.
next situation. Right now I'm looking
It's
for
the honesty about the situation is what really makes people feel your spirit or not. Is that's what you're trying to go and say about the second part of it. Transparency, honesty, and the willingness to consistently grow with the partner that you have. Would you say those are the 3 points?
100%.
Okay.
You got to be upfront, because people are going to find out some way somehow. And
Yeah.
it's better to be through you than through your just a completely clouded picture that they put together, because people will put the pieces together. You might as well give them those pieces before they do that themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and complete transparency as well. Like, I just a shout out to because I want everybody else to be transparent. So, in order for everybody else to be transparent in the comments down below, I just wanted to go and give a personal anecdote when it comes down to it. I've been married, like I was married, but for the first time, and was at the age of 18, and I had a huge ego, just broken a world record, and I thought that she was a special enough person that she should feel special to be with me. That's the kind of ego that I had in that kind of regards. And it's there's one thing to go and have pride, and one thing to have an ego. And those are two things that I had to go and learn. It's like, it's important to be prideful about what you do. It's important to be happy about what you do. It's important to take pride in your work. But it's one thing to go and have an ego. And I lost that marriage as a result of that. And I honestly, transparently tell people all the time, I've lost that marriage because of my ego. And as a result of that, I had to humble me down into a place where I was able to go ahead and attract so many different partners that I knew that I would not be able to go and be along with because of the ego that they carried, because of pride that they had. And it also gives you a mirror in that kind of perspective as to like, what you don't want and how you should not treat somebody. By going through that kind of journey, that can be incredibly painful, but at the same time, it's God's lessons to you. That I think that it's a blessing. And like if you were to really think about it on a retrospective basis, I would have never started all these nonprofits or done all the stuff that I do if I had not gotten rid of the ego. And so God taught me that at the right time, at a very early age, luckily, to get rid of the ego and replace it with being proud about what you do. And at the same time, go ahead and just see everybody else as being a part of being a oneness with you. And so I really appreciate you bringing that entire thing up. So you were going on to the third thing when it comes down to it. What is the third thing that you have to go and teach people in that kind of regards?
Yeah, so number one is make sure your reputation is good. Number two is make sure your intention is actually clear
Yes.
about what you're actually looking for. And then number three, just put yourself in environments where that type of person would actually be. I didn't meet my wife at a bar. I didn't meet my wife, in some whatever place. I was constantly putting myself in situations where I would meet a person that was aligned with my values. So stop going to places that are killing your soul and that are lowering your vibration, because you're just going to end up in trouble, and you're just
Yeah.
going to end up wasting your time with people that ultimately aren't going where you're going. So I was at a spiritual retreat when I met.
Okay.
I was there strictly for personal development purposes. I was on a business trip, and I just took time to go on a spiritual retreat for the weekend while I was there. And God totally orchestrated it, where I had actually met her a year before we officially met. That's another thing. You probably, possibly, maybe have already met this person, but the light won't turn on in both of you until that spiritual work has been done. So I had met her a year prior, but neither of us were in a place to be ready for each other. I was in another relationship at that time, grateful
Okay.
for that relationship, had a lot of growth, and it was super important. Same, she had a lot of growth. She learned what she needed to learn from that relationship to love herself more and be in a place of total self acceptance that she was working on. A year later, we met at the exact same place. It was a place that I had returned to because I had continually had been receiving a lot of insight and growth from my experiences there,
Yes.
except she was one of the first people there, and I was like the second person there. And I walked in and she was right there, and it was like, oh, that's right, I know you, I remember you. And so many things started clicking in our minds. She actually shared the exact same, and this is going to blow your mind listening to this. When when
Okay.
you when you
I'm ready. I'm ready.
when, when you see things that are way too crazy to be a coincidence, it's the creator dropping a breadcrumb for you. So I dated a girl, and I realized when talking to my now wife that
Yes.
they both shared the exact same birth day, year, month, and hour as each other.
You and your wife.
The previous girl I dated and then my wife,
What?
they were born on the exact same day, year, month, hour. Like
Uh,
literally the exact same time they both end.
okay, so let me ask you this. Why did you think about this as being coincidence?
So we were there in
Because I mean,
November,
X's
and
are
my
X's
wife
for
and I
a
are
reason.
both born. Say again.
I said X's are X's for a reason, is what most people would say, right? And so when it comes down to it, it's like when it comes down to like a lot of people, for example, it's like I dated two Courtneys in a row, actually three Courtneys in like a row, right? My first wife's name was Courtney, okay? And so the second wife, like the second girl that I dated, and I was just like, oh my gosh, your name's Courtney. It must be meant to be kind of situation, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
so, but it obviously those things didn't work out. So like, why would you think? And like, it's a pragmatic the question I'm asking you, I guess, right?
Yeah.
From like a person that absolutely is a believer, but I want other people to understand this, right? Why would those two things align in that kind of way for you to get that kind of answer in that kind of regards? You know what I'm saying?
So there's a lot of different people named Courtney, and I may know 10 people named Courtney. I'm just talking to that specific example. But if there's something so unpredictably coincidental, you got to at least pay attention to it. What is it telling you? The creator may tell me one thing, he may be telling this person or that person or that person another thing, and that's between the conversation that our soul is constantly having with God in every moment. If we're just
So it's personal.
focusing,
This doesn't apply to everyone.
yes, it might not. It's just what happened. It's just what happened for me. When there's a
Okay.
coincidence, when there's a really un like it's undeniable that that is unbelievable, you have to just pay attention. There were so subsequent things that happened where I went, okay, wow, this is crazy. So we met at this place in November, and she was there with a family member, and the family member was talking with her about her birthday, which was like 2 weeks prior. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, you just had a birthday? I just had a birthday too. What's your birthday? And she said, October 24th. And I said, oh, wait, how old are you? And she told me her age. And I was like, no way. So, I didn't say this out loud, but I thought, wait a minute, that's crazy. And I put the dots together. They're both born on the exact same day. They're both the exact same age. I didn't say, what hour are you born? But like, as I got to know her, I eventually said, you won't believe this. By the way, what hour were you born? And she said, oh, I was born this hour too, the exact same hour. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It was mind blowing. And that previous relationship wasn't a bad one. It was necessary for both of our souls, my soul and the other person, to grow, and we have no bad vibes, and we're totally cool, like friends, like, happy birthday, hello, all that stuff. But
Oh,
I wasn't like, oh, I'm so mad at this person, they're toxic, they're crazy. For an ex, you always receive some type of blessing through that situation. And if we throw out the person completely, we throw out every positive blessing that our soul gained, and every blessing that they bestowed on us, every lesson that they gave to us, we lose it and have to go through it again, because we threw out the divine appointment that the creator gave to us. And we say, hey, creator, I think you were off, I think you were wrong by giving that to me. I'm not going to be grateful for it, even if it was painful, even if it was sad, even if I didn't have the experience I thought I would. There's always a blessing and always a lesson for us. And if we throw that out, we lose that. So that's one thing that happened. The second thing that happened was when we were there at this retreat, they started it and they said, hey, everybody, just close your eyes, say a prayer, set your intention for what you want to gain out of your time here. And I attempted to do that. And as soon as I did that, the only thing I could see in my mind right here was it was like I was watching a movie of this woman who I had just spoken to for the first time, myself and two kids, and we were on the beach, and it was sunny, and we were living an amazing life. And I just couldn't even get it out of my mind. It was like the only thing that I saw. And when we went through the weekend, we finished. As soon as she got home from the event, the first thing that popped up on her Facebook was a video of me giving a talk that I had just put on Facebook, and she watched
wow.
it. And then she had a
Wow.
dream about me that night. She messaged me, we FaceTimed. I joked that she should come hang out in Texas. I literally just met her, and I just joked, hey, she was in real estate. And I said, hey, if you're ever in Texas, I'll show you around. There's a lot of great real estate here in Texas. It's a great place to do business. And we just continued the conversation over, several weeks. And something inside of her, I don't know what happened, but something inside of her was like, yes, like that is for you, go. And my wife doesn't even like to leave her house. Like, she's home most of the time. She's a homebody. But
Yes.
when it's a soul connection, the creator will communicate to you what needs to be communicated. And ultimately, you still have to have the courage and the confidence to go through it. And you have to be in tune with yourself enough to pursue that. And you have to have done the work internally so that when it shows up, we don't mess it up. Because attracting them is one thing, but sustaining that love long term is another thing. So spend time in places where they're actually going to be. And then you also have to prepare your vessel, your emotions, your mind, your body, everything for that person so that you can sustain it long term.
Wow.
Otherwise, you're just going to have pain.
So guys, like I just want to go and like just summarize what he just told you guys, which is now for the third point, right? It's about, first of all, it's about having the right kind of, like ability, the vessel to go and let yourself in, to let yourself into that Holy Spirit, essentially is what you're trying to go and say, right? If I can go and like you summarize it in that kind of way, right? If you don't mind, or your God, or whatever it comes down to, and just really being able to go and go upon the visions that you experience and not letting those visions just go past. I'm pretty sure that every single one of you guys has experienced some kind of vision about something in your past, about some kind of connection, about some kind of deepness. And if you did, put it down into the comments below, guys, because we're truly here to go and create a community of togetherness. Now, this next session, I'm just going to ask you some spitfire questions, which I just want to go and like have you just answer maybe in like a sentence or so, okay?
Yeah.
So, where do you see your business in the next 10 years? What do you like in terms of like, what kind of positive impact do you want to make? And like your goal for it in that kind of regard. It's like, what's the goal? What's the real goal as to why you're starting your foundation? Like, for example, if I was to take Africa Healing Foundation, our goal for the next 10 years is to create sustainable healthcare as well as amazing nutrition for everybody so that we can make sure that everybody's served. And one of our taglines, I would say, is like, nobody should suffer in silence because we want to make sure that people like you can become a part of us so that, you can go ahead and make sure that no one's suffering in silence in terms of love, right? And that's just, a small vision to go and say. But if I was to go and say the real tagline is together, we are limitless, right? There's unlimited things that we can go and conquer together. And it's because we have so many different sectors. But your sector is love. So if you were to go and have a vision for the next 10 years, what do you want people to experience from your organization?
Yeah, we really want to remove all the blocks for everybody listening, you listening right now that can't find that love, that it is possible and it's much closer than you think. That love is your birthright. Your soulmate was created. This love was created for you at the beginning of creation. And we don't want you to just find that love. We want you to sustain that love long term and experience life's greatest joy of not only having that partnership, but creating a legacy through your family. Soulmates are brought together to change the world. And the purpose that you two, the ignition, what ignites within the world when you come together, the purpose you have together is world changing. And not only the purpose that you're going to have on the physical world, but spiritually and emotionally, the family that you create will impact the next, generations. Once we're gone, we're gone. And if you're an amazing person, full of love, full of joy, full of impact, and you don't pass that on, whether it's adopted children or through what you teach or through your own personal children, then what you brought to this world goes to the grave with you. It doesn't go any further. Obviously, energy is never destroyed, it's only changing form. But we want you to have that greatest joy of finding your soulmate, sustaining that love long term, having a family, pouring into that family, and creating a legacy with a world changing purpose with that person. So we coach people through every phase, from finding them to keeping them to growing a happy family and then getting into that purpose and living it out every day.
So that's so beautiful, man. First of all, I wanted to go and acknowledge you for that. And I hope that the world gets to go and experience exactly what you're showing them and that each and every one of you guys gets to go and experience that beautiful soulmate. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, obviously, that everybody already knows the answer to. And I'm pretty sure that they can put it into the comments below if they can feel that love, But it's like, how much do you love your family and how would you rate your relationship? I look at a smile already. I mean, he was just like, oh my God, I've said this on my wedding vows too. Like, I'm ready for this answer. So if
Yeah.
you guys can see that smile, put it into the comments below as well, guys.
Yeah. We're all in. Every decision that I make is for my wife and my family. I literally spent the previous 10 years before I even met my wife preparing so I could have this life. I'm so blessed to work from home. I have three kids. One is 6, one is 4, one is 1, and they get to see their dad every single day. And I built this life. I spent literally my entire adult life and before preparing my heart, my soul, my emotions, and my career to be able to spend that time with them. And we want that for everybody. So I don't like live a self-centered life. Obviously, I have goals and desires, but uh, I don't make any decision without considering how it's going to impact my wife and my family. Now, when you become joined with a soulmate, that connection is designed not only to help you experience love and nurturing, but to grow. So I won't say that, everything's perfect 100% of the time because, then you're just not growing. But the key to a beautiful, loving, happy relationship is being able to be honest with each other, being able to communicate with each other, being able to call each other out and say, hey, I'm seeing what you're not seeing, and let's work on this together. We're 100% united. We're 100% in love. We spend quality time together every single day. I make time for my kids every single day, and we're living heaven on earth. And heaven on earth in terms of your marriage is perfectly imperfect. It's beautiful. It's full of love, full of nurturing and growth, and that 80-20, the 80% perfect, and that 20%, hey, I'm seeing this. Let's work on this. Let's go to the next level together. And guess what? When you're with your soulmate, there's no limit to the next level. You can constantly keep rising.
Hey, that's a true meaning of together we are limitless, right? And that's what I love about that situation that you just said right now. You just literally quoted a tagline on that one, unconsciously, subconsciously, because that's the meaning of it, guys. Is that's why we have these kind of discussions, is because we want everybody to understand that we're all here as one community together to grow, to go ahead and provide that comfort, that kind of compassion that even like Jacob just said, he's literally the CEO of Soulmate University. I mean, look at this guy. And he's even telling you that it's 80% and it's 20% for growth. And that's the 20% that we're always focused on to go and get better and to become a better connection with one another. And there's nothing more beautiful you could have said. Now, there's just one last thing that I want to go and end you off with, man. I just want to go and ask you one last question, right? And this is past the Spitfire round. Now we're going right into like the personal situation. So you obviously seen the kind of stuff that we do with Africa Healing Foundation, and I see the stuff that you do with Soulmate University. Like, what are you willing to do for like the people in Africa? Because I mean, when it comes down to like most of the women in Africa, most men leave their women after they get pregnant and they just disappear. And it's crazy. And all of a sudden they're like left raising their kids. So like this happens like a lot of time, and that's creates incredibly strong women, obviously, because they got to raise their kids. But like when it comes down to the soul mission that you have, like how do you feel about like going over to Africa and really impacting the people out there and doing like a one-on-one, like doing like a group seminar or something like that? Because I think that the message that you have to give is incredibly powerful, and the people in Africa, I'm sure, would love to go and have your Christian wisdom over there as well. And and plus they would, I'm sure that your kids would love it. Riding an elephant, Magan, come on now. So what do you think about going to Africa, and when's your next plan to go ahead and actually take a visit out there?
Man, so I've been to Africa several times. I love South Africa. I've been to Johannesburg. I've been to a lot more remote parts of South Africa as well. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Kenya for business. I have a lot of friends over in Africa, and it's a beautiful place. Everybody is so in their heart over there, and
Yes.
it's an absolute just beautiful place to be. I absolutely love Africa. And in terms of what I can do at this exact second is that everybody listening, I have a ton of free materials that I can gift to you to help you with that internal self-love, with that preparing yourself for that right relationship, and for the strength needed every single day to do what you do and raise a family. And it's terrible when families divide. That's one thing that's our mission. We want families to be together, and because it affects that next generation. And if the next generation is they don't have that proper support, it's going to be a
Yes.
lot harder for them, right? So that's one thing. If you just message me on Instagram at Jacob Rakowski, I can give you access to all our free resources. And then definitely sometime in the future would love to, go all over the world, Africa included, and, share this wisdom and help as many people as possible just prepare themselves internally. Because when the spiritual work has been done, you don't have to go looking. You don't have to go on an app. You don't have to go to the club. You don't have to take a trip. My soulmate literally showed up at the door. Now, I didn't go out looking for her, and I stayed in good touch with her, and I was prepared, but I just joked, hey, you should come to Texas. And my wife flew to visit me just for a 5-day trip as a friend. But of course, we could feel the energy, but we didn't know what was about to happen. And she came to visit me for 5 days, and that was 7 years ago. She never left. So your soulmate can literally show up at your door, and we're excited to help as many people as possible do that spiritual work and that internal work and preparing themselves to co-create that beautiful reality with God, because God wants to give it to you more than you even want it, but we have to be ready to receive it. Otherwise, if it's given to us before we're ready, ultimately it's just going to cause more pain. We have to be ready for the love that is ours to receive.
Well, there you have it, folks. We were so blessed to go and have Jacob over here. I really appreciate you, Jacob. I appreciate your wife for bringing you together to go and actually be with us, because I feel like she's a big catalyst to it. She's a 50% part of it. So, like, thank her on like our behalf as well, when it comes down to it. And guys, you guys heard it here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put all the Instagram and all the things that you guys need to go and get into contact with Jacob and his organization. And if you guys are ready for your soulmate, you guys got to reach out to him. It's that simple. We're going to put all the links in the description in the video down below. And remember, guys, the reason that we're doing this is to go ahead and bring people together, because indeed, together we are limitless. So I hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. And it was such a blessing being able to serve you. And thank you so much, Jacob, for being on this podcast. You truly blessed us with all your wisdom, and you spread so much love over here. I can just sense all the love that you have for your family, and you brought that love to us, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that.
Love you, love all the listeners, and let's make this world a more loving place.